Construction. In construction, the most important element is the stability of the building. The structure is the basic element that provides this need. We could say that structure is the key element in a building. We, as architects and urban planners, have to understand and accept the fact that idealistic projects cannot be built without the right formula from which the building can be raised up and last through time.
Framed structures. A framed structure is a structure supported mainly by a skeleton or frame of wood, steel, or reinforced concrete, rather than by load-bearing walls. This type of construction should be able to resist deformation without depending on floors or walls. Rigid frames have fixed joints that enable the frames to resist lateral forces. Other frames require diagonal bracing or shear walls and diaphragms for lateral stability. There are different types of framed structure, such as heavy timber frame, light frame or balloon frame, platform frame, and steel frame.
Timber frame. This type of construction was the commonest type of construction in Eastern Asia and Northern Europe from the prehistoric times to the mid-19th century. The heavy timber frame consists in large posts which are spaced relatively far apart that support thick floors and roof beams. The beams are strong enough to allow the upper story and the roof to project beyond the plane of the ground floor posts, increasing the space and weather protection. The spaces between the heavy visible frames of interior and exterior walls are filled with non-structural materials such as brick, plaster, or mud.
Light frame or balloon frame. A balloon framing system is typically seen in an older home or two-story building built before the 30s. This system of construction is composed by many small and closely spaced members that could be handled easily and can be assembled by nailing. The wall stud starts at the sill or bottom plate of the first floor and extends continuously to the top plate or end rafter of a wall. Floor joints were then face nailed to the sides of the wall studs. This frame structure is then covered with a vertical or horizontal boarding for weather protection.
Platform frame. The platform framing is the commonest type of framing used in the residential construction today. In platform framing, each floor is framed separately, as contrast with the balloon framing. The first platform is built on top of the foundation walls. The walls are then constructed, raised on the platform, and the second-story floor is built. This process is repeated for each floor. The materials used for this type of construction are pre-manufactured.
Steel framing. Steel framing is based on the same principle of the framing structure, but is much simplified by the far greater strength of the material, which provides more rigidity with fewer members. The load-bearing capacity of the steel is adequate for buildings many times higher than those made of other materials, because the column and the beam are fused by riveting of welding. Stresses are distributed between them, and both can be longer and lighter than in structures in which they work independently as postel and lintel. Thus, large cubic space can be spanned by 4 columns and 4 beams, and buildings of almost any size can be produced by joining cubes in height and width. The steel frame is also used in a single-story building where large spans are required. The simple cube then can be abandoned for covering system employing arches, trusses, and other elements in an limitless variety of forms in order to suit the functions of the building. The development of this technique made the construction of the skyscraper possible.
Conclusion. Frame structures are one of the countless ways of making our project come to life. It provides the skeleton needed in order to build up a project, and it gives them the stability to last through time.